Good evening. This is the free market update for Simpler Futures, Monday, February the 14th, which is Valentine's Day. That's the one good thing that I've got for you today. Expected move priced into the SPX options chain for this week, marked essentially against about 44.10, is about 100 plus or minus 125 points for the week. And the reason that I mentioned that is that 44.10 less 125 would take you down to essentially the value area low here for this entire profile, which goes back, I've got this thing back 6 months for reasons discussed in the last week's video. And interestingly, from there on the up, that would put us back into that very important level that we discussed last week at 45.35. Reason for that, there's a 4-day island, well, there was a potential anyway for an island there, gapped at like 45.35. Interestingly, that is quite, that proves to be quite the important level on the top side, and it's also essentially the expected move on the top for this week. Look, if anything's changed this week, it's that we've got a little more risk off or a little more risk premium being priced into this with the additional news that we've learned since we were together last week, and that is that not only are we led more so now to anticipate some faster pace of the uptick in the rates by Bullard's comments last week, i.e. 50 basis in March was the talk, and not only that, but for that to be expanded to no less than 1% by July. So you've got the March, May and June meets, and so that means between essentially March and June, he's advocating for a full 1 point adjustment in the rates in front of the early July timeframe, right? Not only that, but now this Russian-Ukraine conflict and the temperament there's being some risk priced in that you need to really be aware of, because there was comment earlier this morning by a Russian Prime Minister that was positive, and the market responded very positively and very quickly. Rallied like 50 points just in a matter of just a very couple of few minutes. So that type of thing is very possible. You need to be aware of that. But also, if something is to go the other way, i.e. bad or south then this thing, I believe it could get ugly, fast, right? I mean, really ugly, really fast. All right, so here are the levels. Like I was saying, if anything, I think we can bring that 4,500 level over under from last week. We can bring that down, I believe, now to 44.40. Why? Well, from the top of the all-time high to the bottom of the break a few Mondays ago, which is down at 42.1275, you can see how important all of these major fib levels are and how price is responding on each and every one of these. So let's know these levels. 43.53 or so. Interestingly, overnight low last night. Big volume last night too. Close to 500,000 contracts traded in the overnight last night. 75 points in range. Really tall on both of those measures, high volume and wide range, which ended up being this 236 was the low of last night. Just above that, the 382, the 44.40 level. I think we can kind of treat that as the over-under for this week. Above there, we're good to the upside, reaches up near that, bangs its head on that, and it's soft, right? So if above that, then we can get back into this level that we pinged around all last week at 45.10.11, which is the halfback, and above that, of course, last week's high, which is the 618 up at 45.80. If you remember, we were looking at going into a CPI report where we needed to be careful. What was the report going to be? Was it going to be a little light, maybe a little hot? Came in hot. Actually, price action responded pretty receptively to that. It was Bullard's comments afterwards that had this thing experience the break. And then soon thereafter on Friday, was, of course, the Russian news, and we continued to, subsequently then break additionally thereafter. Settled last week at 44 about 10. Come in this morning, we trade 10 this morning, trade a little bit higher, a little bit lower, and we come right back in at the end of the day. So what does this mean? Very neutral today, very balanced today. Could go either way. It looks soft. It looks like an M pattern, an upside down W, or an M pattern that has the ability to really get bad. I think it would be some news breaking, but has the ability to do that, and it would be, in my opinion, on news, and this thing, could really break. Absent that, over under 44.40. Above that, the levels we're targeting like 45.10 and back to last week's high at 80. Anything can happen. Keep that in mind. Goes either way, but to be frank about it, it does actually look a little soft. Okay. So, and by the way, breadth, not good. Really not good. Advanced decline, minus about 800 this morning. Just got worse throughout the day. Ends up near the lows. Not a positive sign there. VIX somewhat elevated today. It was up a good 1+%. Over here, not promising there either. That's actually, both of those have this to look a little bit bearish. But look, I saw the news this morning on some relatively positive news and how nicely the price action responded to that. That can happen. That can happen again, and we're higher, a lot higher, real quickly. However, if something goes south, this thing's in trouble, and it can get bad in a hurry. So, best I've got for you is know the levels below. You've got expected move on the week takes it down into 42, like 85.90. Interestingly, value area low for this entire profile, over under, I'm seeing it as 44.40, which is this 382 retrace. Above that takes it back into, the 45.10s, the 35, which is really important. And then above that's last week's high at 45.80. That's really it. And I do hope this helps. You guys have good trading. Just be careful out there. The ranges are really wide. Intraday, we've got 12 plus good, solid 12 plus point moves in the intraday on harmonic rotations and like the S&Ps. Crude is really wide and it's trading in a wide range. I mean, $2.25 or so, $2.25 or something, average sort of daily range. You need to probably really consider knowing this, really consider dialing the size back so that you can have an opportunity to widen the stops, knowing the width of the rotations. And with that, of course, in dialing down the size and giving wider tolerance for risk, you've also got to command higher range objectives for the targets in order to keep the risk profile to an acceptable R factor. There's really just no other way in this volatility. So, good trading. Nice evening. Look forward to being with you again a little bit later this week. I think I'll do Wednesday night's update as well.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency. It's one of the things that won me